I'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and face the flag? Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sonia, will you take roll call, please?
Commissioner Wire,
Here.
Commissioner Corbin,
Here.
Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Commissioner Dippel,
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion to approve the, adopt the agenda?
Make a motion to adopt the agenda. Sorry.
Any further comments or discussion? Hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Nothing under appearances and acknowledgements. We'll go down to consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Nothing under unfinished business, so we'll move down into new business. Item number 1, discuss an action regarding installation of well for irrigation system at Bachman Balali Park. Mike, if you would want to bring us up to speed on that.
Hi there. So I think everybody knows that about a month ago, we approved buying all the irrigation materials for Bachman Park complex for the whole complex. We were kind of on a standstill of a well drilling company because of the drought. They were extremely busy. Well, we actually had a well driller get back to us with a reasonable quote, in our opinion. So if we'd like to move forward with them drilling it this fall, it is not a budgeted expense, so it would have to be subsidized at the end of the year for that expense. Well, the quote comes in at $18,000 to $20,000 for the pump and the well drilling. We still haven't heard anything about the equipment or the materials for the irrigation system. I know that there's some holdup on certain stuff due to COVID shortages for pipe and valve controllers and sprinkler heads, but if we could move forward with, if the commission would like to move forward with drilling this well and have it completed, because there's no guarantee we're gonna be able to get him in the fall or in the spring. And definitely not for the price that we have quoted currently. So, and Jameson can fill in anything else.
I think the important part to note is that this well would be needed for the irrigation system if the commission does not want to connect to our existing water. Even though it's a city water system, doesn't mean it's free for us. There is a cost for treated water. I think Mike had made a comment to me that based on what we expect the cost of the water to be through our own city water system, this well will pay itself off in probably about 3 years. Depends obviously how much rain we get each year, but just know that that treated water does have a cost to it, and so this well would be the cheaper alternative.
How long does it well last?
The water department has one that, or the treatment facility has one that I know was built in 1996, and they're still pulling water out of it. Tree. So
Commissioner Corbin probably have an idea on how long wells last.
It depends. Yeah, 20 years is another question. I'd say that's,
So 3-year returns.
yeah.
Okay, I have a motion to take action on this.
Go ahead.
No.
Go for it.
I'll make a motion to approve installation of well for irrigation system at Bachman Baladi
I'll second that.
for up to, what do you want, $20,000?
the quote tops out at 20,000, depending on if they hit something.
Let's go up to 20,000 out of the general fund.
Second.
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Item number 2, authorize the mayor to sign terms and condition for the permit to occupy right of way Van Epps Place, Dakota State University.
Sure, so I can provide an overview. So recapping the history of this item, I suppose a month or two ago, DSU had come with the application to occupy right away. And the commission took action to grant that permit pending an agreement between DSU and the city to specify use of that parking and some of the details. Since then, the mayor and myself have worked with our engineering and our city attorney to kind of work through some of those details. The attachment in your packet outlines the conditions for DSU to have that permit to occupy right of way. Some of the high level spots or areas that cover there is that would include diagonal parking on 3rd Street as well as Van Epps, which would be meeting city requirements sizes of 10 foot by 18 foot. There's also 5 off-street perpendicular spaces. Those are a little bit smaller in width at 9 foot rather than 10 foot. However, that's not public parking by any means. It is off-street parking on their property. So they, as the property owner, would have the discretion in making those sizes as they see fit. Parking is constructed with intersection visibility in mind. Originally, the plans had parking where the sidewalk would be about split on through the property line. And upon our request, DSU agreed to move that parking in a little bit further so that the sidewalk's going to be completely on the DSU side of the property. They're going to be granting an easement for that so that the public can always have access through that property on that sidewalk. And therefore, the parking spaces are further in than was originally discussed. The sidewalk will meet the city requirements of at least 4 foot 8 inches. I think they might even have intentions of going a little bit bigger at 6 foot. That's up to their discretion as the property owner. It would meet city requirements. There's going to be a 6 foot privacy fence installed on the south side of the property. And then we discussed snow removal, and we have language in there so that DSU is responsible to remove spaces in a reasonable time in accordance with all the other snow removal activities that they do throughout their campus. We have received some comments from the public. My director of engineering staff to send out a notice to all adjacent property owners so that they were aware of this hearing coming up on the parking agreement. And we did receive a couple letters from people who cannot make it here today. So those were either included in the packet or copied and left for you here to read. That's everything. I stand by for any questions.
Is there any other comment? Come on up there.
Steve Hofer, what else? 404 North Van Epps. Anything else you need? Yeah, so the letters sent, could we have those read for the public? Because I don't know what my neighbors, that not part of the meeting.
Well, the one was in the agenda packet, so that's available for public use.
Okay.
The other one, so it dropped off today. I can read that one quickly.
Thank you.
This is from Reverend Anthony Urban. He said that the pastor at St. Thomas Parish here, and he wasn't able to attend the meeting to offer his comments. He said, I'll just read verbatim the paragraph that states his concerns. I would like to make my apprehension known about allowing this to go forward. My first apprehension is because of the bus stop that picks up and drops off students from my school and the public school. It is tight as it is with cars parked in the curb of DSU's property, having a bus stop and other traffic on the road. Another apprehension about this proposal is how snow removal would take place. For students to be able to park in the diagonal parking, snow could not be pushed up into the parking area because vehicles would be sticking out into the street. If vehicles were parked in the church school parking lot, it would prevent our lot from being able to get cleared out. The question that I have is, will snow be removed from the property or will it be moved onto the lawn or into parking spots? A third apprehension goes back to whether or not Dakota State University ever looked into purchasing a neighboring lot to use for parking. At the meeting in August, the representative from DSU did not address that option, but said that their proposal was the safest and best plan from their point of view. If my recollection of his words is not correct, I apologize, but I think neighboring homeowners in our school deserve to know if the option of purchasing a lot and having a home move was ever considered by Dakota State University to prevent pursuing the proposal at hand.
So on the snow removal side, broadly speaking, remove snow as quickly as possible. I think that will be a huge issue as far as where those cars are gonna go for snow removal. And I was just inquiring if DSU students were gonna be notified if a storm is forthcoming, if they would utilize public parking ahead of time in lieu of a storm coming, so that way, you know, cars aren't sitting there being buried. I mean, I know that happens across town. This is new for us. I don't believe our streets are emergency snow routes. I'm not sure, but I imagine they are by the school, but I know on our street going north and south, we're usually plowed later. And if kids have to move their cars, or they, I mean, there's really, unless they just use their discretion and try to find a spot, but I would just suggest that, you know, if that's possible, if kids are notified, if they know there's alternative parking outside of parking right in front of the dorm. And I know my wife brought that up last meeting about public parking, utilizing the public lots. I don't know if that got communicated to the DSU students or not. I'll just leave that for those guys to answer. Otherwise, so you mentioned the footage, so I understand that. So they're doing just the 9 feet within by the dorm on the west side, I think is what you mean by the 9 feet, because the rest will have to have 10 feet on the east and north side. You know, if that's the case, you know, we still have a hard time believing there's that many spots given the footage. Again, we've measured it, and it's just hard to come up with what the city suggested and what's available. I think we came up with a total of 15 spots. So if those aren't changing on the east side and north side, then I don't know if there's enough room for those spots. And again, I guess, you know, the west side would be irrelevant if you're adjusting the 9 feet. That's all street parking. But anyway, just food for thought that, you know, we still believe parking spots are short, and maybe it's in your notes that's been presented that they will have plenty of parking. But to the pastor's point and to our point, I mean, we have been good neighbors. We brought them chili the other night, so we love the kids. It's just that we would just want to make sure on the parking side, especially because it's really going to be interesting again when snow comes, and you know, DSU is good about coming and cleaning up as soon as possible, but we know what that can look like when winter really hits. And the last thing we just ask, and thank you, commissioners, you guys have been real good about this whole process, and appreciate the meetings we've had, and we just really appreciate you guys just thinking about, you know, who lives in Madison, residents of Madison. Realize that we want to be welcoming of students coming from other communities, but we are residents, live in a community, and actually vote for our commissioners. And but I do acknowledge your work that you've done and appreciate it. But anyway, that's all I had. Just wanted to share those thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? I did have one question, Stacy, on how do you guys normally clean up at DSU now? Do you put out an alert and say, we're gonna be cleaning on this side of the street? They get the cars out of your way so you can clean it, or how is that usually handled? Or Corey can answer that question.
I think I saw them playing some rock, paper, scissors then.
I lost. I won. So that kind of depends on the situation. Depends on how much snow we have. To where if we have to call one, like last year, we'd get small snows and it would melt in a few days, so. But normally we will call we'll alert, send out emails with a time for a certain area, have them park at Trojan Field. Probably do the same type thing if we clean down there. Hey, Trojan Field lot's available, it's clean. We're gonna clean on Tuesday from 1 to 4. If it's a real large snow event, get them out of there. As far as handling it, none of it will be left in the parking. It'll either be shoved up on the property or to a pile, and then when we can, we'll probably haul it off with our dump trailer, would be the plan. Just because the site's gonna be pretty tight to leave it there very long. We try to do that around all our buildings anyways. We ran into issues in the past when it starts melting in the spring. It likes to run in the basements of old buildings, so we try to get it out of there.
Okay.
So that would be the plan.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other question?
I guess I have a quick question in regards to Mr. Holfer's question on the parking spots. Did we make any changes to that since the last plan? And has that been approved by Ryan or?
Yeah, our engineering office is supportive of the designs that was changed, and the spots did move from 9 foot on the streets to 10 foot. This is the main change there. And then as far as being pushed in further inward so that there's less risk of vehicles sticking out due to big vehicles or snows or other factors.
Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign terms and condition for the permit to occupy right away Van Epps Place, Dakota State University? So.
Second.
Okay. Any final comments?
I just want to make sure we thank everybody for their hard work, because this wasn't an easy process to go through and internally and externally. I'm glad we've reached out to the community and have tried to formulate some. I think that's important.
I think we have a better agreement because of that. I don't think anyone's perfectly happy with it, but.
All right. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3, ratify the mayor's signature on state water plan application. Brad, did you want to bring us up to speed on this one?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the commission, you should have in your packet, the packet for the state water plan application. It's quite voluminous. Probably the most important would be the sheet that has summary of the opinion probable costs. And that gives you everything that you need to kind of see there. Overall, it would be $18 million for the total project. We're anticipating that the DANR through their Water Resources Board is going to award, in effect, grants. They usually do it as loan forgiveness on their SRF program for this. The state of South Dakota has just shy of $1 billion they need to allocate for water over the coming basically 4 years. It's going to be, the applications this year and then 3 years of performance. And then there'll be maybe a little bit additional time to get the work completed, but they're shooting for a 3-year time frame. We anticipate that the grant amount will be somewhere between 40% and 60%. And that we would like to take the opportunity to double our money and do as much water infrastructure as we can. Obviously, this touches water, sewer, and streets. And so there's 2 applications in there. One's for water. The other one is for storm and sanitary sewer. So it's got drinking water and then the wastewater and clean water, as they call it. So there's quite a few. There's the different segments in there, 6 of them. And basically what we looked at was the work that was anticipated for 2022, which is on 9th and Union. We wanted to have that in there, included in that. We went and looked at a bunch of different options for things like sanitary sewer lining. Looked at areas that we wanted to upsize the mains and create more or less a loop around the community. Also to fix an issue down on Southeast 34, where we have a dead end main on one side of the road, no main on the other side of the road, no fire protection on the other side of the road. We'd like to fix that. It also fixes an issue with the new water tower. We calculated the capabilities of the flow coming out of the water tower. And currently we're good coming out of the water tower at a 12-inch line that comes off either side of it. But then after that, we don't have enough capacity to actually discharge all the water that tower could deliver. So we have to, that's part of the other reason for that loop down there on Highway 34, was so that we can get all the water that we could out of that tower and provide the best flow for that. The other improvements are areas where we want to increase the size of water mains, especially crossing like the railroad tracks. We have limited number of crossings in the railroad tracks. Many of them are substandard or subsized. And so we want to bump those up and provide some key areas where we want to increase the capacity of our water main so that we can increase our fire flow and provide better flow to some radial lines or some small loops that are kind of isolated from the system. So the whole idea with this is that we wanted to use this money as a strategic investment in our firefighting capabilities and in our distribution system. So that in the future, as we could go out and replace a couple blocks of 4-inch main or something like that, but that wouldn't have near the impact on the system as doing the strategic upsizing and creating this loop on the inside of the city so that we can get a robust distribution system. So as we start doing these other projects, we don't lose out as far as our firefighting capabilities, which is something I think we really need to try to supplement and is in need of improvement. So that's kind of what we did. There's a lot that goes into this. We're hoping to get at least 50% loan forgiveness. And then we could utilize either our own equity to buy down some of the debt, or we'll see how things go, whether we use just cash and reserves or just cash or go with a note. One of the better hedges anytime we're in an inflationary period is to get as much done as you can during that inflationary period, get a note. And in this case, if the interest rate is lower than the inflation rate, which would be substantially lower, we're talking probably 1.5%, and right now inflation's running close to 6%. Our payment stays the same, and then our income will go up with the inflation eventually, and so then our payment becomes a smaller and smaller percentage as time goes on. And that's a good use of money. If we can double our money today, that's far better than leaving it in the bank, because if our money stays in the bank, then we lose at the same rate of inflation. So this is an opportunity for us to get a lot done and get, double what we would normally be able to get done with our money. And like I say, we can utilize some cash to buy down the note and come out of this with a pretty reasonable deal. The thing is, we've got a demonstrated performance with the RD project. We're already putting in $21 million worth of infrastructure. The state's going to look at that and say, you guys are proven, we're going to give you money and we're going to make sure you get a good match. I actually anticipate there's a lot of people putting in applications to the state water plan that aren't going to be able to follow through because they either don't have the track record, don't have the political wherewithal to get it pushed through their communities, and that there's going to be more money available. So I want to be here ready and available so that as there's a second round that comes out of this, because the state has a deadline, that we have an opportunity to get not only this first round funding, but a second round subsequent funding, which I anticipate will come up probably in 2 years. We'll see how this all goes, but my guess is they aren't going to get it all allocated in time. And then my recommendation is that we approve this, and there's no obligation. This puts it on the plan. There's no obligation that we have to build any of this, but without being on the plan, we don't have any opportunity for funding. So we put everything on there that we thought we could do. We'll see what the state comes back for in their funding, and we'll just see where this all comes out. But without this application, we don't get a chance at any of the money. So there's no obligation at this point in time.
Actually went through this process a couple of years ago and didn't accept the state's money, it just went through a phone.
But they were aware of our project, and they're aware of it now that we're getting it done. So they were very encouraging for us to apply.
If I'd known a global pandemic was gonna break out 2 years ago, the state would have a bunch of grant money, they were gonna get, we probably would have went with SRF.
It's,
Sorry,
if your crystal ball was that good, you know the numbers for the lottery tomorrow.
I wouldn't be
or
sitting
Wednesday night,
here.
Yes.
maybe it would, I don't know.
Yes,
So Banner put this application together for us.
yes,
Was there a fee for that?
I'm sure there will be. I don't know what the exact fee was, but there'll be a fee for it. I don't know. They didn't, I don't think we even got a direct proposal for it.
Do we need to take, when we make this motion to approve this? Where it's coming from?
Creating the plan and you signing the plan probably is separate from the actual payment of the bill when it shows up.
Agree. I'd imagine the few hours that Banner spends putting it together would just go under general engineering. I'm sure we have a contract with them for that.
We professional services, I'm assuming we split it up with the water and sewer and storm.
At some point, we'll need a preliminary engineering.
And we'll get a,
Cost about $30,000.
we'll get a proposal for that, and we could probably include this preliminary in that proposal. I don't think there'd be any issue with that with Banner right now. We're doing enough work with them right now that this isn't gonna be something that they're worried about getting paid back within the next 10 days or something on.
Do we have a motion to ratify the mayor's signature on the state water plan application?
So moved.
Second,
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Public comment.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brett. All right, first one on is Richard Riley.
We have,
Us three are together.
we're together, so.
Okay.
I'd like
Deal.
to have,
Yeah, you want, all three want to come up to the table and bring an extra chair.
I'm Amy Christensen. I'm Brenda Hanley,
Richard Riley.
and we thank you for what you guys are doing. Thank you for your time and thank you for letting us talk. We understand that then there's been some, like $1 million been given to the city for American Relief Fund or something like that. And some of it was spent on vaccine incentives. And we feel that we could be using that in different ways. And one of them was outdoor recreation. Can that be used for the pool, that outdoor recreation, to get that pool going for the kids?
There are some sections of it that refer to outdoor park areas, not specifically pools, but potentially there's not a lot of guidance out there yet. But there's a provision that refers to outdoor spaces.
Okay, yeah. And then, so anyway, we're thinking we would like to use it for the water and sewer. For our community and back to work incentives. And if it can be used for the pool, we'd like it used for the pool, but if not, small business loans. What else? Anybody else?
I guess just for point of clarification, my question would be, what was the primary goal of incentivizing the vaccinations?
increase vaccination rates in the community.
And you were hoping that that would do what?
Get more people vaccinated.
Okay. Was there a goal behind getting vaccinated?
Where are you going with this?
Well, I guess I'm just trying to clarify if the incentives are being used to try to eliminate COVID-19 from the city of Madison. I'm not sure that's the best way to go about it. If we watch globally what is happening and we look to Israel, Israel is one of the most highly vaccinated countries in the world today, and yet their COVID cases are the highest they've ever been. So to incentivize something that doesn't eliminate the problem 100% is questionable. And I've talked to many business owners in the city of Madison that are desperate for employees. One of them even said she's looking to close 1 or 2 days a week because she can't man the business. And I love the community of Madison, and I would hate to see us lose businesses over this COVID-19 issue. And if there is money that could support those businesses, incentivize people to get out and take a job, I think that would be a huge help to our community. And my other concern is what liability it may cause for the city of Madison should one of the incentivized vaccinated people have an adverse reaction. Just using the Medicare Medicaid statistics, the population under 80 that we used was a beneficiary of Medicare Medicaid. 19,400 people died within 14 days of getting vaccinated. And in the Medicare Medicaid beneficiaries over 80 years of age, 28,065 died within 14 days of getting vaccinated. So I wouldn't want the city to potentially put themselves in a position of liability by incentivizing something that permanently disabled someone or even caused their death. We'd like to see water, a swimming pool, and fully stocked businesses with employees.
The economic impact on our community could be helped here, I think, we think.
And I guess I'm pretty much gonna say the same thing, because of the dangers of the COVID jabs reported by many doctors, lab experts. I beg too that the city not provide incentives for such jabs because of what the lady here said. And certainly no mandates, especially regarding employment or admittance to any city facilities ever. I mean, just something to think about probably to start with. That's all I have.
These are our concerns.
Any questions for these three?
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where will it go from here? You know, is this going to be voted on, or, I mean,
If there's, if this committee decides we want to move forward with something, it will be put on the agenda.
okay,
From a staff standpoint, this was something that was acted on a couple meetings ago. The commission had that time for discussion and action. And so unless we are direct otherwise, we'll continue implementing the program as we have for this past week. And if there's any interest in having the future agenda to see different direction, then the commission will direct us otherwise.
So has it been decided to do the full 50,000 or just the first 25?
First,
No, the commission took action for the first 25.
First 25.
Yeah, the original idea was 50. They decided to do 25,000 to start and then see if it improved vaccination rates. And if it did, then or if they didn't, whatever the outcome is, they would have the opportunity to discuss to determine if they wanted to do another 25.
that's why
The discussion was.
that's why we're here,
Okay.
trying to stop.
I would encourage if there's a way to follow, not just whether or not the people got vaccinated, but their health after being vaccinated. Did they contract COVID? Or did they have an adverse
Heart attack.
reaction?
Well, part of this program is we're not going to be asking for personal medical information. The only thing that we do ask is proof that they received the full doses of the vaccine, whichever type they get. As far as the safety or any effects from it, we would look at big picture numbers for the state or the county. And so far, we've seen that the vaccine is reliably safe. And that's, I think, where the commission is going to.
That's pitiful. Sorry.
And that might be a sticking point, I think, as we appreciate you guys coming and talking to us. But there's a lot of information out there, a lot of disagreement. certainly on a national scale, a global scale. I don't
Right.
think in these chambers today or however much time we have, we're gonna be able to agree on everything.
Right.
But I do appreciate you coming here, and hopefully we can agree on the
About
respect.
a personal scale, my daughter's a doctor, and she was willing to lose her job, not to take it, because she knows where to look to get the true facts about this. They have access.
I guess I would just ask, are you open to being updated on the global perspective of what is happening in regards to that?
Absolutely. And we're open to anything. And we understand where you're at, and we have a stance that we took, and I'm not opposed to taking any information from anybody in the public. Always have been all along. I'm a little stronger conviction on the opposite side of the fence because I'm dealing with a family member that's dealing with it. We all know that just because you're vaccinated isn't going to stop you from getting COVID necessarily. It might lessen the symptoms. But you're more than welcome to send me information. I would always go through that.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You had 4 minutes, sure.
Steve was for the parking.
Okay.
So move down into announcements. First announcement, change in meeting October 12th instead of the 11th for Native American Day next Monday.
Just to make a note of that, so as mentioned, typically when we don't have Monday working hours, we move to Tuesday. The commission did receive an invite from the LEIC to attend their kickoff meeting for Forward Madison 4, their campaign for the area, and that is at the same time. But just want to let you guys aware. Tuesday, 5:30.
Part of me feels like we should be involved in that as well.
At this point, we don't have anything for next week's agenda, but it's only Monday, so that could change. So we could set it for, not Monday, I guess Tuesday. We could set it for Tuesday per usual. And if we don't have any actions that require, items that require action that day, we could certainly cancel. Or we could schedule for a different time. I don't know if you guys have done Zoom meetings here. Staff will direct the meetings to be occurring whenever you guys want.
You find a new meeting?
Fair, man?
Would
Yeah,
Monday,
let's just try not to have one.
would Monday be, I mean, Monday be out of question to have it? I mean, would you be available? You're available?
Whenever you guys set a meeting, we can make time to be there.
I'll be here.
I'm flying around.
Noon would work fine.
If that's a national holiday, I'd rather see it. You know,
I'm fine going Tuesday at noon.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Buy sandwiches or something. or-
We certainly could.
Now I'm.
Their food. Let's go Tuesday.
We can do that.
Okay,
What about, can I ask one other question, Jameson?
Sure.
What about the ribbon cutting on Friday if all 5 of us are there?
Yep, Sonia is going to have a notice posted so that we'll state to the public there is going to be a quorum of people likely at that event, but no business will be discussed.
anything else?
I have an announcement on electronic recycling drop-off event, which will be Saturday, October 30th from 9 to 3 at the Recycling Center. It's a collaboration between the county and city. Please do not drop things off early as we don't have room for them or volunteers to pick them up. So the only time we'll be accepting things is Saturday, October 30th from 9 to 3 at the Recycling Center. And we posted information on the website and the Facebook page if you have questions.
Anything else for announcements?
I wanted to let the commission and the public know that we are having a survey available to the public to take throughout most of this month. It started as a reason or as a way for the commission to gather feedback regarding our capital planning efforts. But I also included questions in terms of what people's general feelings are about aspects of the community. So that is now publicly available. It's available on our website, and our social media, and then we will have surveys in person. So if somebody prefers to stop by our office and pick one up in person or complete it there. And that's going to be open for the next 3 weeks. And then at that point, I'm looking forward to seeing what the results are. And hopefully the commission will find it useful as you put together your 5-year capital improvement
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye. All opposed, motion carried. Thank you for coming.